The Dangers of Football. Professors at Portland State University conducted a 2-year research from 1998 to 1999 in which they found over 350,000 kids suffered concussions from football. Now, that in itself is an insane number. Throughout the years, we've seen the total number of injuries increase, but as you can see on this chart, in recent years, these numbers have decreased, and that is due to advanced technology, and not only technology, but rules as well. Why should we care? Everyone that I know, and everyone that you probably know, is connected to football in some way. They know someone that plays, they have a family member that plays. You watching may even have a kid one day that plays. And the first thing that goes through your head is the safety, because at the end of the day, that's what matters the most, the safety of the player. Now, why should you listen to me? Well, I play football. I play for Terry Sanford, and I've gone through my fair share of injuries, so I know what it's like, and trust me, you don't want to experience that. With the advancements and achievements made in the technology, along with rule changes, day by day, the safety of players is improving. Throughout the speech, I'm going to be talking about the dangers of football, how we can make the game safer, but also the technology that goes into making the game safer. Football is a contact sport. There's no avoiding it. It's going to happen, right? That's what makes football so special, the contact. But we're always looking for a way to increase player safety. Injuries are going to happen. It's how it goes. But there are efforts we can make to increase, or I should say decrease, the probability of those injuries. What falls under that category is the evolution of helmets and helmet technology, better pads, and rule changes in favors of the player. Now, since the start of the sport, there have been advancements in every aspect, but I want to talk about the helmets. When the game first was invented, there were no helmets. In the 20s, they adopted the leather, and over time, they switched to plastic. Around the 60s, they implemented the face mask, and since then, it's just been advancing. Jimmy Starp, a writer for the Smithsonian, he wrote a great article in the history talking about the protection and how the game is just overall over 100 times safer than what it was. And I think we all can agree that little leather helmet isn't doing much. Aaron Moskoff, he made a claim that right now, in this point in time in the sport's history, it's the safest moment because of those technologies, and it's hard to argue that. Now, touching up on the rule changes that I mentioned earlier, many fans consider these rule changes soft. They think the grit and the fun in the sport is taken out, but in reality, it's the opposite. The players are safer now. You can't hit a defenseless guy. And hitting a defenseless guy in his head, no matter what type of helmet you have, you're going to get a concussion. That's how it is. Now, with the new technology of helmets, concussion rates have dropped significantly. I mean, we're talking roughly 70% from 2000 to where we are now. And that's just insane by itself. And these advancements not only have dropped concussion rates, but CTE rates, which is something that the NFL is notorious for. Helmet technology nowadays, it's a lot of hard plastics and rubbers, and these are used to just absorb the contact. But in 2014, Riddell introduced the Flex Plate. That thing right on top of that helmet, the Speed Flex. This plate absorbs and disperses energy to other parts of the helmet instead of the head. That's something that you don't see a lot. Andy Berg, a writer for Athletic Business, he wrote an article in which he stated that in 2015, there were 275 concussions in the NFL. In 2021, only 187. That's almost 100 less. Keep in mind, there aren't a lot of guys in the NFL, so that's a pretty big number. Now, the flex plate technology, it was so successful that other companies such as Scott decided to pick it up, and they're allowed to because this technology is for the players. It's not to make money, it's for the players. Now, sure, equipment, there's only so much it can do, but the rule changes that's a huge part of it. The NFL Physicians Society, they released an article and they went into depth about these rule changes, and not only rules, but there's programs for the player safety. You know, these programs, such as the Heads Up Tackling program, it's instilled in high schools across the country. Even the high schools in Fayetteville, we have to do these every summer. And basically, that's to teach these younger children how to tackle. So when they get older and the game gets faster and more dangerous, they're going to be safe and they're going to know how to play the game properly. And not only that, the NFL donates about $40 million a year towards helping youth teams and high school teams get an athletic trainer, as only 1 in 8 high schools have an athletic trainer, and that's insane in itself. You know, the football operations department, they released an article mainly for the fans that goes into detail about why the rule changes, and it basically states that they're doing it for the player safety. Now, in conclusion, if we stay on the same path of advancement of technology and rule changes that we have been on, and we go at the same rate, then hopefully one day there will be football with no injuries. But until that day, we can only just keep working on finding a way to make the game a little bit safer day by day.